Hey noobs, Mr. Frog here. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a game called Succubus Farm, a new stealth adventure H game created by Dieselmine and published by Kagura Games. Unlike some of Kagura's other combat-focused games, Succubus Farm is more about avoiding conflicts. That is, unless you do want to see the H scenes. Now, before we begin, I would like to stress as the usual that the Steam version of this game is censored by default, which not only removes the art, but also certain gameplay elements as well. The game is playable without the 18+ patch, but I strongly recommend against doing so, as there is not much content in the game without it. You can find a link to the Kagura Games website with the 18+ patch posted below. Now with all of that out of the way, Succubus Farm begins with the player being approached by a local town girl, asking for help to find their brother who is lost in the woods. The player agrees to assist the girl, but is captured by Succubus in the forest instead. The player then wakes up inside of the titular Succubus Farm, where the H content begins right away. The Succubus Farm is a place where succubi have gathered groups of men to milk them like cattle. The entire premise is a bit on the absurd side even for an H game, but hey, what can you really expect? After the scene, the player is then able to break free from confinement, and thus begin the actual game. Now, the main premise of the game is to avoid the succubus as you make your way out, and along the way, you will encounter different gameplay mechanics, and a few puzzles as you progress through each level. Some levels will have certain switches you need to press to open doors, and some levels may also have trap floors that you can fall into. Succubus will always be patrolling throughout these levels with their vision marked in green. If a succubus catches sight of you, they will begin to chase after you right away, and if you are caught, a mini H scene will take place, where you have to mash the action button to break free. There are also certain marked areas in which you can hide for a bit to lose the succubus if you are caught. This basically sums up the majority of the gameplay, to be honest. It's a very straightforward game, and none of the areas will take you very long, really, to figure out and escape from. It is also very easy to just hold the sprint button and just run past everything with no trouble at all, but hey, what's the fun in that? Using this method, you can easily clear the entire game in about an hour, if not really shorter. That being said, though, this is a hentai game, so by dodging everything, you basically are kind of missing the point of the game. You're gonna want to get caught by the succubus. So in that regard, I would strongly recommend against it. The game also does feature a ton of bad ends, where you can make a wrong choice and then start an H event. These bad ends, which I guess technically are good ends in the case of an H game, will add a lot of extra time onto the game as well, so keep that in mind. Overall, I'd say Succubus Farm, while being a bit on the shorter side, isn't really a bad game. The gameplay's a little bit on the lackluster side, but it's simple enough to serve as mild filler in between all the H scenes, which the game does have plenty of. If you're interested in trying out a little bit of a different style H game, different from your typical combat style game, then I'd say Succubus Farm is worth a try. Once again, thank you to everyone for all the support, and make sure to check out the Mr. Frog stream over on Twitch. Later, noobs.